We got a great call lined up, as you know. This young man is no stranger to our call. He hails in the San Diego area. I have a great deal of respect as a single father. I love his terminology and his way he brings things methodically to us. And I also love his presentation. Without further ado, from San Diego area, who has the fastest growing regional director in the company in Southern California. Without further ado, the great, the one and only, Mr. Julian Lewis.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing sensational. How you doing?
Great. I see that bright sunlight out there. It's been warm here. It's been like 80 to 84 degrees. It feels like summertime. Everyone in San Diego is losing their minds and they're outside enjoying it. And it's been crowded. It feels normal again, almost, and in a good way. But it's good to see your smiling face, sir. I appreciate you for introducing me. And I just want to let everyone know, and I've said this before, Mr. Thomas has been able to be my mentor. You know, what I love about him is that despite having leaders between him and I, he dug deep into his organization to identify other leaders. And when he saw me working hard, I wasn't doing it for somebody, but that's what a special leader does, is he recognized, like he did with Sam Foster and others that I've seen him do it with, he recognizes leaders and then he develops and helps to shift their mindset and helps to create results. And in doing so, he has a huge organization of people. And people might think, well, it's because he's doing X, he's successful, yes, he's working hard. But the other part of it is selfless. He doesn't just do it with me, he does it with so many people that are not even in his money. And it just shows who he is. How you do anything is how you do everything, sir. And I see you through and through, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And guys, today, I'm gonna get myself out of the way fast. I want you to watch this video. I like these videos because it helps to kind of get your mind right before we get into a talk. Okay, so let's go to this video, and then after the video, I want to talk to you about a few things. Since this is my last time being with you this month, I just want to kind of bring some things together and make sure that we're moving forward the way we want going into the next month. So let's go ahead and get to the movie.
Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. If it was easy, there'd be no Kerry Washington. If it was easy, there'd be no Taraji Henson, P. Henson. If it were easy, there'd be no Octavia Spencer. But not only that, if it were easy, there'd be no Viola Davis. If it were easy, there'd be no Michael T. Williamson, no Stephen McKinley Henderson, no Russell Hornsby. If it were easy, there'd be no Denzel Washington. So keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
We tend to base our self-esteem on what other people think. And that's not really self-esteem. Self-esteem is supposed to be how we feel about ourselves. And I was just saying how dangerous it is to allow other people to determine how you're going to feel about you. And it's kind of like looking into a broken mirror. You're going to look in a broken mirror and then change your face to try to look good in this defiled, busted, broken mirror. And it just, other people's opinions is a really shitty way to determine how we feel about ourselves.
You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. Now, I've been blessed to make hundreds of millions of dollars in my life. I can't take it with me, and neither can you. So it's not how much you have, it's what you do with what you have. And we all have different gifts. Some money, some love, some patience, some the ability to touch people, but we all have it. Use it, share it. That's what counts. Not what you're driving, not what you're flying in, not what kind of house you bought your mama. Dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. Goals on the road to achievement cannot be achieved without discipline and consistency. I pray that you all put your shoes way under the bed at night so that you got to get on your knees in the morning.
The one thing I'm the most happy about in terms of my career is the fact that I got there with the grace of God, first of all, but short of that, I got there just by working hard, not partying with the right people, not compromising myself in any way or cutting any kind of deals, just by working hard, just by plugging along, sawing wood, as I like to call it. I'm a 20-year overnight sensation.
I don't get life mixed up with making a living. I was there for all 4 of my children being born. When the first one was born, I recognized the difference between life and making a living. Their life, you know, our family is life. You know, acting is making a living.
What do you think the biggest difference between doing a play and doing, I mean, it's a cliched question, but I'd be interested to know your answer.
I think a part of what Viola just said is that you get to dig deeper and you get another day.
Right.
And you get the energy. Mm-hmm. You do a movie and there's 200 people that are used to it and they don't care, and everybody's doing their job, and it comes in a theater somewhere, and you're picking your nose at home somewhere, clipping your nails. There's no energy.
Right.
When I was on Broadway 5 years ago with Julius Caesar, I made a decision to sign autographs every night. I don't know what I did. Yeah, it ain't happening this time. No. Only as I rub my knees, only because my knees are bad, it's hard for me to stand. But.
And why did you decide to do that?
Well, you know, I wanted to say thank you. It was my way of saying thank you. And the first night, it was like 5,000 people out there. I said, okay, wait a minute. Everybody who has playbills from our show. So, yeah, because it was like people were just wandering up the block. I was like, wait a minute. I forgot I'm on, 42nd Street, Times Square. I was like, wait a minute. But honestly,
you were signing for weeks.
The energy, and I was out there an hour and a half every night, every show. But the energy you got back, the stories, the 5 little old ladies who just drove in from Detroit. And I'm like, well, what y'all doing tonight? They said, we're getting back in the car, baby. We got to go back tonight. Wow. And, a little 84-year-old lady was like, baby, if I was 3 years younger. Oh, true story. True story. Then we had, and I say this also, because I hope it happens with this play. We had some high schools come. We had one school from somewhere, I forgot where, and they were doing Julius Caesar, and some young kid was like, well, my Brutus is a bit different. He's more the classic stoic. But it was great to engage and exchange with these young people. There was an energy. I got more from it than I gave to the people that I signed for. That's, you don't get that. The odd thing about success in film is the budgets get bigger, you make more money, but they become more formulaic. Yes. So you don't get the opportunity. So God willing, if I stay around long enough, this is what I'm going to be doing.
You're always affected by opinion, but the more opinions there are of you, of me, the less I look at them, because I just can't live my life based upon what other people think about me. So I can't concern myself too much with what other people think. It's just not healthy. I don't think I could continue to do what I do if I was constantly worrying about what somebody thought about it.
And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
You don't have to compromise yourself. You know, if there's something you don't feel good about, then don't do it. The most important choices I've made was to say no. And I've said no many a time to films that I just didn't, especially early on, I just didn't feel comfortable with. There was one script that was brought to me, I called it The They Couldn't Kill. Because they were like, he was accused of raping this white woman in the 40s, and they tried to hang him, but he didn't die. And they tried to electrocute him. And they were like, it's a comedy. I'm like, it ain't funny to me. So I actually called Sidney Poitier, who I was fortunate at that time to, and still, to be able to call. And I said, you know, this movie, I'm sick. And they offered me $600,000 to play The They Couldn't Kill. That's what I called it. I wasn't there. And he said to me, and I'll say this to you, he said, the first 2 or 3 or 4 films you make in this industry, Denzel, will determine how you proceed. He said, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but remember that the first 3 or 4 or 5 films you made will determine how you proceed. I turned it down. I turned the money down. I needed the money. I turned it down. 6 months later, I got Cry of Freedom. So stick to your guns. If you don't feel like you should do it, then don't do it. Because you don't want to be, you don't want to be a negative energy on the set. That's how I feel. So I'm like, I ain't doing this because I'm going to slap somebody the second day. So I just, it's something. I think the most important decisions you can make as an actor, actress, is saying no. Is saying no. You don't have to take your clothes off. If you don't want to, then don't do it.
Number 1, put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift. In everything you do, if you think you want to do what you think I've done, then do what I've done.
All right, so I want to bring this all together because, I saw the video that Natasha played yesterday. I seen I looked at some of the videos, just breezed through some of the videos that I played for everyone this month, and just going back over my notes on the videos that Natasha played. And I want you to think about all of them combined. If you notice, with all of them combined, the reason why, so my question to you is this: why is it that we see Denzel Washington, we see Kobe Bryant, we see Will Smith? Why is it that when we see someone like Eric Thomas, why is it that when we see someone like even a Mike Tyson or someone like a Tiger Woods or a Serena Williams, why is it when we see someone like Barack Obama that swept everything? And I'm not talking about politics, I'm just talking about success. Like, why is it when we see someone like in the early days of Mark Zuckerberg or in the early days of Elon Musk or someone like a Jeff Bezos, why is it when we see those people, we get excited to hear about it? Why is it when we see a Gary Vaynerchuk or even a Tom Bellew, where we'll nod our heads and we'll agree and we'll be excited? Why is it that when we see those people, we agree with them and then we do nothing? Why is it that when we see them that we realize that they're all saying the same thing? We're told to read books. We're told to read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. We're told to read How to Win Friends and Influence People. By who? By Dale Carnegie. Why is he important? Why were the Vanderbilts important? Why was Ford important? Why was Benjamin Franklin important? Why do people quote Abraham Lincoln? Why do people quote Martin Luther King? See, it's because we have all of them embodied in us. See, the reason why all of these people matter is because none of these people mattered at one point to humanity in a way of understanding who they are. None of those people at some point were famous. At some point, at one point, they were just average, ordinary individuals, average people who thought bigger just like we do, but they decided to do something about it. And then in their conversations, what we realize are the things that we already know at the depths of our soul is that in order to do something great, we're going to have to step out of the idea of us that's reflected on us by people who think they know who we are. See, the truth is you're two people at once. You're a human being and human becoming. And both of those versions are sometimes at odds, but when you get them to line up, you can do incredible things. And what every single one of these people have in common is that they've realized the human being and the human becoming, and they've appreciated the human they used to be. Whether that was because they made mistakes or they had victories, because the thought of what they're doing in a positive way shapes where they're going. And oftentimes what we do is we dwell on our mistakes. We create this scary world of a prison in our mind that projects out into our reality of who we think we are in a negative way, and it traps us in a way that we can't do anything more. And then what happens is we start to project that into our reality where it changes the way we live. You know, you can be in love with a person who loves you back, but if you're in your mind, you don't love yourself. All you see in yourself are what? The flaws. So all you see in their love is the flaw. See, everything that we see outwards is what is happening inside of us. We can see the same situation different because of what's going on inside of our minds. And the reason why I'm sharing this is to get you to think about what you're thinking about. Last week, I said to write down the lies, write down all the negative things that you tell yourself, and then replace them with the positive things. Why? Because you have to start thinking correctly. And what's scary is that we see all these motivational videos and it makes us feel incredible. And we know without anyone really telling us that they're true. We know it in the pit of our stomach that it's real. But then what do? We turn the video off and we go into our lives, and then we embrace the delusion or the false narrative because we're used to our failure. We're used to we're used to the bottom. We get comfortable with it. And I want to tell you, because last week was about fear and love. This week is an extension of it, because I really care about you guys. Look, I go through stuff too. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Sometimes I don't want to do what I know I need to do because I'm sick of it. And I'll be honest with you. It's tough sometimes. And here's what I mean. See, people that haven't accomplished anything sometimes look at people that have accomplished and say, I wish. They're strong, they're amazing, they're powerful, they have it together. And people that have accomplished something sometimes wish they could be seen as human, because they were strong, they were confident, they had it together, but it's because they pushed through the pain to get to where they needed to go. So we're all dealing with something at the same time. But you have to make a decision that none of that matters more than what you want to experience in this world. And my question to you is, what do you want? You don't have to answer it to me. You don't have to put it in the chat. I'm not your upline. I'm not talking about ACN. You can get what you want through ACN. But my question is, what do you really want? I'm not talking about material. I'm talking about your life. if you were to look back when you were 85 years old and look back at where you are throughout your life, what have you wanted your life to look like? Where did you want to travel? Who did you want to be around? And then as you get back to who you are today, my question is, are you doing those things, or are you sabotaging yourself so that your 85-year-old self will look at everything and regret? Will your 85-year-old self say, I could have been an SVP, but I know deep down inside, I just didn't work hard enough. I could have been financially independent and had experiences around the world with my family, but I was afraid of what everyone thought, so I stayed inside myself and I made excuses so that it could satisfy me in the moment. But I'm going to tell you something. Those excuses only satisfy you in the fleeting moment. And what's scary is your emotions are just as temporary. But the things you don't do that are a part of your heart, that are burning desires of your heart, you will regret them more and more as you age, because you know you can do them. You know how I know you can do them? Because of every one of these people that are in these motivational talks. Every one of them have different faces, just like all of us. Every one of them have different circumstances and different things that troubled them. And a lot of them had harder times than we have, but they figured it out. And it's just the truth that human beings can figure it out. And so as we move into March, I just really wanted to talk to you and have a heart to heart and say, I believe in you and I know you can figure it out. Listen, you may not have anyone in your circle that is motivating you right now. And I want to tell you that I see you, because I felt that way too. I'm the one that's good, so no one checks up on the one that's good. My recommendation is to keep moving forward. And though I may not message you every single day, know that I am cheering for you every single day. Because in your win, I see the motivational videos. In your win, I see myself winning. When you triumph over the small things, I see myself triumphing. I know, Corey, you can do it. Sergio, I know you can. Jabri, you already know I know you can. David, Caroline, I know you guys can. Natasha, quit playing. You already know I know you can. But I'm talking to you in the way that I want you to talk to yourself. Because if you can internalize that positivity, if you can realize that every single one of those greats are just a reflection of how great you truly are, then you can step into the greatness just as they did and be a part of an elite group of people who are shining their light bright enough to show everyone that they can do it too. That's really all we are. We're a beacon of light moving ahead of those that come after us to light the way to show them that they can do it too. And when you can embrace that process and be okay with knowing that it's not supposed to be easy, then you'll be able to do what's hard. My mistake when I was younger, in my understanding of this world when I was a kid, is that things should get to a level where they become easy. And what I realized as an adult, that was the furthest thing from the truth. And had I kept that mindset, I would have been destroyed. It's not about eliminating problems. It's not about eliminating what's hard. It's about figuring out a way how to get through the hard so that you can constantly level up to become a better person every single day. And when I really embraced that, even through depression, I realized that this was just a lot of weight on my bench right now. Does that make sense, you guys? It's just a lot of weight on my bench right now. And I might not be able to lift it today, but if I keep coming back every single day, sooner or later, my body, which was created by the Creator who blessed me to put me in this vessel, is going to build my body big enough, strong enough to be able to lift the weight. And that's our everyday sharpening that allows us to become the masterpiece that is being chiseled by the pressure and the struggles that happen in our life. I want to see you all win. But first, you got to get rid of that dark voice, because it's a lie. That voice is lying to you. The one that tells you you can't do it, it's a lie. Here's how I know. There's too much evidence from every walk of life, from every race, every religion, that you can. There's too much evidence in every ethnicity, male or female, that you can. So if you were to accept a lie and dismiss the evidence, that means you are getting comfort in the delusion. What I want you to do is I want you to wake up to what's real. Because in the moment you do, your kids' trajectory has changed. It's been altered. I'm blown away. I had a conversation with my daughter, and we're all laughing at my mom's house. And we talk about everything in my family. It's, if you could see it, I'm not weird. When you look at my family, we all talk like how I talk. It's crazy. If you could just sit there, and if you don't understand, like if you really don't understand, my parents are from Bed-Stuy, from the mud, from the projects, right? But they're so educated and articulate. But when we go back and forth, you could think we're arguing. We have these spirited debates, I think, like they did back in Greece, you know? And my daughter, she's listening to my mom, and she says, Grammy, why is everyone so focused on making America great again? She said, it doesn't make sense, because the only thing that is constant is change. So why would we try to go back to something instead of just going forward and making America great by making it better where we are today? And that hit me hard, because I want to ask you a question. Are you looking at the past at your heyday? Are you trying to get back to something you were? Maybe you thought you were more fit years ago, and you're trying to get back to that physique. Or maybe you were successful and you're trying to get back to that success. Or you're trying to get back to the way you used to be. My question is, if it's in the past, like my daughter said, instead of trying to make yourself great again and go backwards and look backwards and be idealistic with the past, why not appreciate everything you've been through and just make yourself great in the present? Why not shape where you are to make yourself so great now that looking at the past, at your great versions, they fail, and they're less dim, or they're less bright in comparison to the brightness of who you can become. That's what I want for all of you. So as you think about your life, as you think about ACN, as you think about everything that goes on, when you really think about the simplicity of what we do, and you can get outside of your own mind, it becomes easy. But you got to battle the person that's in your mind first. I want nothing but success for all of you, and I want to see you win big. And so to close out, here's what I want to do. The last day of the month is coming up. right? We all know the 31st is coming up. Let's talk about business for a second. There are some bonuses on the table, or some promotions, I should say, on the table for Vivint. There's some promotions on the table for gas and electricity, where every person you gather as a gas and electricity customer, they'll earn $150 based on electricity is 100, gas is 50. They're waiving 6 months of monitoring. That by itself, and waiving all the upfront costs, that's insane. There's so much that they're doing right now that you can completely pivot and start out the next month strong. So here's what I recommend. Go like a beast just between now and the end of the month. Assume your greatness and detach from your doubt and detach from your fear. Just do an experiment and knock out 20 points between now and midnight on the last day of the month, because I know you can. See, my mentor stretched me when I was new, and I was able to see myself do more than I thought possible, and I never went back. And so I'm trying to stretch you right now, because when you see how simple it is, in my opinion, I believe you'll never go back. So look at those details, go to the back office, figure out what you can do, get on a mission, shake things up, do things a little bit differently over the next 24 hours, and make it happen so that you can realize and become a part of these motivational videos as a person that has succeeded and decided to draw a line in the sand and all the other cliche conversations you've ever heard, and you step into your greatness. Because if every single one of those people can do it, you can too. So with that being said, Mr. Thomas, I want to give the call back over to you. I greatly appreciate everything you do and your example. And I'm excited for those of you that woke up this morning and woke up in your mind to step out and do something bigger. Thank you.